Hey everyone, and welcome back to Diablo Flamenco. In this video we're going to continue on with our tutorials of Santuario by Paco Peña, and we are going to be looking at page 2 in the book. So let's go ahead and get started. Just like our previous video, we're going to go compás by compás, one line at a time. In my opinion, the next 2 lines are some of the more difficult parts of this piece, involving a lot of slurs and pinky work. So let's try and break it down slowly and use a good right hand position and fingering. On the first line, on the second page, we have this phrase. Very traditional phrase in solea. We're going to start with our ring finger on the 3rd fret on the D, pinky finger 3rd fret on the 1st string, and we're mostly going to use index and middle on our right hand to play this. So we're going to pick that D string with the thumb, rest stroke, and then index to play the 3rd fret on the 1st string. Next we're going to grab the 2nd fret of our middle finger on the 1st string, and then put the pinky back down to get the 3rd fret again. So we have, and we can use the right hand fingering thumb, index, middle, index. Next we have a slur. From the 1st fret with the pointer finger on the 1st string to the 3rd fret with the pinky, pulling off to the 1st fret again and pulling off to the open string. And at the same time, we're going to play with the thumb, slur, pull off. So far we have. Now we're going to move the middle finger, the pinky finger, to 3rd fret on D, and pointer finger, 1st fret on the 1st string. Next, move that pointer finger over to the B string. We're going to play the D with the 3rd fret and the 1st fret on the B at the same time, followed by another open 1st string. Okay, next we have the D string 3rd fret again. We're going to play with the thumb and an open B, followed by a slur with pinky to the 3rd fret on B, pulling off to the 1st fret and pulling off to the open. Sounds like that. Next, 2nd fret on G, middle finger, and 1st fret on B, the pointer finger. Next we're going to grab this G, ring finger 3rd fret 6th string, and play it an open G at the same time. Next, open B, 1st fret on G, 3rd fret on D, ring finger, followed by our closing solea phrase, which is thumb, followed by index, middle, ring on the treble strings, and then thumb is going to go D string, G string, B string, index, and pick the 1st string on the way up. While I'm holding this 2-finger version of E that we did in the previous video. So that whole phrase. And that is that first line, a difficult phrase. The phrases that relate to the next line, in my opinion, are some of the more difficult parts of this piece. So let's break it down and excuse any mistakes that I might make as well, because I'm still practicing these on my own. Very similar to what we did in the previous line, but it's entirely slurred. So we're still having that ring finger on the third fret of the D, and our pinky and index is going to do a lot of work here. So we have the D string with the third fret picked. At the same time, we're going to go 3, 1, 0 on the first string, which sounds like this. So pull-offs. Next, grab third fret on B with that pinky finger. And now we have this, which is open first string, slur to 1, free, pull off to 1 to open, play it again. So 2 in a row. Next, pinky goes back to third fret on B. Pointer finger grab first fret on the first string, that pulls off to the open string. Next, we're going to pull off the third fret on the B to the first fret, followed by an open E, another 3 to 1 pull off on the B, followed by thumb with the D string, still on the third fret, open, 3, 1, 0 on the B. This is another hammer-on to pull-off phrase. Next, second fret on G, with the middle finger. We're going to pull off first fret to open with the pointer finger. My middle finger is still held. We're going to go 2 to open on G, followed by 4 to open. So kind of a tricky phrase here. Next, grab that third fret again, followed by 2 to 0 on G with the middle finger, pull off, back to the third fret on D, to our close. And I recommend for fingering here, we're going to use right hand fingering. We have A, M, A, M, A, M, A, M, M, index. Now here's where it gets tricky. Move up your hand so we get A for that 1, 0, M for the 2, 0, 4, 2, 0, index, middle, index, and then our regular fingering for our close. This phrase will repeat later on in the piece with a variation, so look out for these difficult phrases. The third line of the second page, we have a variation of the escobilla. We did the escobilla on the first page that sounded like this. And now we have so a variation that's also pretty common here in solea. It's basically an octave down. So we're going to hold this chord here at first, which might be tricky. Ring finger, second fret on G, and pointer finger, first fret on B. We're going to go thumb on the A string, followed by I, M, A, M, I on the treble strings. Next, we're going to lift these, keep the pointer finger held. We're going to go a slur on the A string, 2 to 3, and now on the D string, open 2 to open with the middle finger. So that sounds like this. And keep that ring finger held too, because that's going to lead us right into our C for what comes up next. So far we have to our C, thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. We're going to slur 2 to 3 on the D. Our middle finger is already held, so we just have to move our finger over. Next, open G, hammering onto 2 and pulling off to the open string. And notice I'm keeping fingers held for sustain and to make the next sections easier too. We're going to build this shape here, where our ring finger's 3rd fret on D, middle finger 2nd fret on G, and pinky 3rd fret on the B string. We're going to go thumb, index, middle, ring. That's on the D string, D string, B string, open E string, followed by thumb and ring playing at the same time, but my pointer finger is going to move to the 1st fret on the 1st string, followed by a pull off to the open string. Next, we're going to pull off 3, 1, 0 on B, pull off 2, 1 on G, and play the 3rd fret on the D, followed by our thumb, index, thumb, thumb, thumb on our solea close. So the whole thing. We have this. Next, we're going to do a phrase similar to what we did on the first page, which sounds like this. So here we have our 2-finger version of E. We're going to do a tremolo on the 1st string. Index, ring, middle, index, followed by the thumb, raising the chord down. The timing here is tricky because the actual downbeat of 1 is strumming the chord. So if we're coming out of 10, 11, 12, 1, you have to be careful here. So 10, 11, 12, 1. So we're going to do the tremolo, followed by the thumb down, followed by the same kind of slur that we did in the previous video. 2, 3, 2, open, 2. Followed by another stroke on the 1st string open. Next, go to our F major 7, to E, to F, to E, with 2 of those slurs, followed by the F and the E one more time. So the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can do a golpe on that 12. The final line on the 2nd page is actually one of my favorite phrases in this piece, and you can use it as a connector phrase in your solea. It's not exactly a falsetta, it's just a single compás filler, and it's a great workout for your pulgar technique and your picking hand. And that phrase sounds like this. Okay? And it's triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 kind of feel until we get to our end phrase. So here we have open 6th string, slurring to the 4 with the pinky, open A, slurring 2 to 3 on the A, open D, pull off 2 to open D, back to the A, 3rd fret, 2 to 3, hammer on the A. So far we have open D, hammer on 2 to 3 on D, open G, pull off 2 to open G, to 3rd fret on D, 2 2 to 3 on D, another hammer on. Open G. On the B string, first fret to open, pull off. To G, second fret. And then we're gonna do a pull off, second fret to 1. So there you hit the second fret on the G twice. Be on the lookout for that. To third fret on D, and then we have our close. So here we go. So the count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is our little connector phrase going into the third page of the piece. And that's all I'll give you for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning this page in the book. And stay tuned for the next video where we will continue on with this piece as we look at what connects these falsettos together. And I'll see you there. Hasta luego.